What up, what up, what up? It is Q1 and we are back with another Real Housewives of Potomac Season 9 Episode 2, Double Trouble. Here we go. So the episode picks up with Mia crying and not crying. But listen, I didn't see a tear, so, but she sounded like she was crying. But whatever, So Wendy says that was a lot. And Jizzy and Karen said, no, it wasn't like that. They wasn't trying to, really come for her parenting. Again, I feel like they were like, you should have done better. And I agree. Mia gets in her confessional and says that Karen is deflecting, so that's why she's talking about her and her stuff. Giselle then gets up before she presents her with a bucket hat and asks to meet her for lunch, so they can, I guess, hash out their differences. So she gives Mia the bucket hat, which was kind of cute. It was kind of cute, but little tacky, like Jizzy, just like Jizzy, little tacky. Anyway, so then she gives the two new ladies, Stacy, and y'all forgot the other new lady name. I don't even think she said a word. She had said much of a word. I forgot her name. I'll remember. She gives them a derby hat, which was really cute, and then Giselle gives herself the queen hat. So then Mia comes back to the table. It's like an awkward silence, and Giselle and Karen actually apologizes to Mia, and then we go on to the next portion where she actually gives Jacqueline a derby hat. And I'm still trying to figure out what's Jacqueline here, but I guess as long as Mia here, Jacqueline's here. She's really getting on my nerves, tap dancing on my nerves this season, and it's only been 2 episodes. Woo, child. Yeah, I'm glad this scene is over. I'm glad. So we then catch a clip of Karen and Ray making coffee, and then we see Mia with her kids, and y'all, her kids are so cute. Jeremiah is so super cute, and so is her little girl, which I totally forgot her name, but I will say she does keep her kids off camera. I will say that. So then we get to the next scene where Giselle and Wendy meet up at the restaurant to hash out their differences. Y'all, that scene was so awkward. The pleasantries to me was so fake. And Wendy says in her confessional, hell has frozen over. But Wendy is open to seeing where it goes. And I'm going to say this, because didn't she just tell Wendy last season, I don't care because I don't like her? She talked about her. She talked about her body when she got her body done. She came up with all these rumors. But I guess when production tell you to get your what together, then I guess you got to get your stuff together. And you got to make amends. But once again, it was awkward. I felt like it was awkward, and I know if I felt like it was awkward, so did everybody else. So Giselle says Wendy is demeaning, and again, she doesn't even take responsibility for half the stuff she has said and done towards Wendy. Maybe they didn't show it on camera, but she failed to take responsibility. But I will say, Wendy, yes, can be a little condescending, and I like Wendy, I do, but we not gonna act like that's not true. So Wendy says Giselle goes out of her way to alienate everyone, and that is true. But I will say this, if she does not, like she said, if I don't like you, and we have seen that where she has alienated people, but most of the stuff had been from her own doing. Most of the stuff, the reasons why she was always in conflict is because she's messy, and she was talking about people's marriages, doing this, just saying that, coming up with plots and schemes, and child. So I'm not sure what she's expecting. Anyway, at this point, it's really given Giselle, your strong back friend, is gone, and you just need to resolve with Wendy because the production told you to. But after this little debacle, I just don't feel like nothing was resolved. I didn't see it. Maybe it went over my head, but I don't feel like nothing was resolved. So I guess they just gonna go along to get along. That's insane to me, because Giselle would never, I would never, not ever, not ever, not ever. I'm sorry, but I tried not to, but so then they have a conversation about Karen's party, and then they proceed to make jokes about Ink and Mia and how short he is and how she has to stand behind him to take a picture, which is so awkward, and I never paid attention to that till production kind of started showing the pictures. It's a shame, but it was funny to me. But this resolve, it didn't resolve. So y'all, we finally get to meet Stacy, and she's in the kitchen with her daughter, and y'all, they are going over Spanish. And so I'm now trying to learn Spanish. I have a friend who is teaching me Spanish like often. He literally talks to me in Spanish, but I'll be like, what? But I'm learning. So we know Stacey is from Detroit. I mean, she's from Detroit. She lived in DC. She purchased a house in the suburbs, and when she worked at QVC, she was living in Philly. Her and her husband, they're separated, but they live together while the divorce is going on. They're not going to tell the daughter, Arabella, I believe that was her name, about the divorce until they come to a decision as to what they're going to do as far as where she's going to live, where everybody's going to go. So once the details have been finalized, then they'll sit down and have a conversation with her. But I want to say she did say they do not sleep in the same room. She also says that she has 3 homes. So, okay, Stacey, I ain't mad at that. And she also says that they're both seeing other people, but that is something that they don't talk about. Y'all, I'm wondering if they're divorcing because there's probably a lack of communication in their marriage. I don't know, but it just makes you think. So y'all, Karen meets up with Kiana. Hey girl, we finally get to see Kay. I like Kiana. I always did. I'm so glad she got a flute. I'm so glad she is here, and we'll see what she's gonna give. She looked really cute though in that outfit, that camouflage outfit. Girl, you was giving No Limit Soldier, okay? But hey, you was cute though, sis. You was cute. So we flash back to the brawl of it all, with her and Deborah and Candace, and it was a whole thing. So Kay, I'm just gonna call her Kay because it's hard for me to pronounce her name. So Kay talks about her boyfriend Greg, but y'all, we didn't get much from Kay, just probably because she was just a friend of. But I'm glad to see that she has a boyfriend. And then y'all, we also find out that she was engaged 9 years ago, and he, unfortunate events happen, and he is no longer on this side of heaven, and that's what we're gonna say. She didn't state why, but we just really didn't know that. And these are things that you just be like, oh my god. And ever since then, she hasn't moved in with anybody. She hasn't made steps like that. So she's now living with Greg until they build their home from the ground up. So that is in progress right now. So Kay says that she's looking for a ring. She's looking to be married. Like, she doesn't want the long-term girlfriend and live together. She actually just, the goal is for her to be married. But they talk about the Hatitude party, and Kay did not get invited to Karen's party. Kay wasn't even she said she didn't know about the GNA event. And Kay said due to last year events and circumstances, she will not be there. But y'all, they still would have been peeling me off of the Muppet Baby, because Anyway, so Karen discussed about her DUI and all of that, but maybe my whole thing with Karen is, you knew that everybody was gonna come for you. You knew they was gonna ask shady questions about the accident, so we just not gonna act like that this is all a surprise. Karen, I love you, girl, but you tripping. So we get to the next scene where Ashley stops at at Stacy's house. She actually met Stacy at Fox 5 studio. I want to say they was promoting a GNA, but she didn't say why. She was there, but we know she was promoting something. I'm just gonna say to Sister Stacy, ma'am, watch her back, because Ashley is a snake. And that's all I got. So Stacy tells Ashley that her and her current husband are separated, but they're still living together. And Ashley made a comment, but I'm here to tell you, sis, you might want to hold your judgment, because wasn't you still rubbing Michael feet last season? But that's neither here nor there. So Ashley says that they talked about their race and how they identify, and Ashley says she identifies as a black woman, but she doesn't talk about what her boys identify. And ma'am, this another thing. Your husband / baby daddy don't want them to qualify or identify as what you are. He wants them to identify as who he is. And I'm gonna leave it there. Y'all might be wrong, y'all. Drop it in the comments. I might be wrong, but y'all all know Michael. Y'all all know he's the scam, the scum. And I just cannot. But whatever. It seems that Stacy and Ashley have a few things in common, and I'm not mad at that. But Stacy says she wants her daughter to know more of her black side, and not really of, more of the black side, just like she knows she's learning more about her German side. So Stacy talks about her new guy, that she says she loves him. He's a Christian, so of course he's celibate. They've been dating for only a few months, and he wants to stay celibate until he's married. They actually met, I want to say, at the QVC. And hey, to each his own. It is what it is. We can't judge. We can't say nothing. So of course, Ashley Fashion, she makes a comment about her not, if she, her not long term dealing with somebody. And ma'am, once again, hold your judgment because you was married to Michael. Hold it. Just shut up. Y'all actually get on my nerves. Moving to the next scene, Karen meets with Giselle at the home of K. And once again, Giselle makes Karen cookies, and then we flash back to season 1 when she made her some cookies. So it seems as though Giselle is great at baking cookies, So Giselle asked Karen if she actually enjoyed the Hatitude party, and just of course Karen feels like Giselle was being messy, and I don't feel like her naming the drink, giving her a non-alcoholic beverage was her being messy. And y'all know I don't do Giselle, but I don't know. I don't feel like that was her motive. Now I will say this: if her big back counterpart was there, then I would think she have a motive. But I'm gonna give her a little time. So Giselle talks about the lunch where she met up with Dr. Wendy, and they decided to just be better. That's all we gonna get. Okay. So Giselle tells Karen about Jacqueline, and Karen says that Jacqueline is on time out with her. And I'm just trying to figure out oh, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just trying to figure out what is Jacqueline's problem. So then they talk about Kay not being invited. Giselle says it wasn't enough room, but girl, she is the main cast member, and there wasn't enough room for her. It shouldn't have been enough room for Jacqueline, but y'all needed her there to put a battery in her back so she can be messy. Neither here nor there. So Giselle thinks that her telling Kay was her being messy, and once again, it is what it is. So then we wake up the next morning. It's 6 in the morning. Everybody get a text from Karen being invited to the Femme Power Award, and LaDame. Is it LaDame? LaDame is being honored. Giselle actually thinks Karen was asked to be honored because she said that the award, they've been knowing about this award, and Karen's name wasn't mentioned. Now all of a sudden it's being mentioned. So Giselle says Karen texts all the ladies inviting them to the event, and some of the ladies in the confessionals didn't think that was okay, but everybody went to support. They decided to support both ladies, and I get that. I get it, but I also understand that if you RSVP'd for Giselle's event, and you get a text early that morning to support Karen, I wouldn't have went. Yeah, I get it was last minute, but I had prior engagement. Nothing personal or nothing like that. It's just about, the prior engagement. So we get to the GNA event, and the setup was really nice, y'all. The setup was really nice, and she talks about her dad. We do get to see a decent side of Giselle, and I'm actually glad that she's partnering with the brain tumor people. I am happy about that. And so Ashley walks into the event, and Giselle, tells her that she's mad that everyone is attending both events, and Ashley thinks that Karen is doing the most. But y'all notice how much smoke Ashley has for Karen since last week and now this week, I'm really not understanding. So I want to say, so maybe you're transferring from the person who neck you was always trying to be on, and now you want to be on. You've always tried to, be on Karen's neck, so now you want to continue doing that. So we see that Vivian and Jacqueline are the only two that actually shows up at the allotted time. So we go to the Sprinter van, and Stacey actually brings up the situation. And y'all, while they was talking about that, did y'all notice that Wendy was just eating and looking and didn't say a word? Gotcha. Jassy is her name. So Jassy FaceTimes Ashley and let her know that they will be there around 8 p.m. Ashley tells Giselle about their time and, that they communicated that with them, and Giselle doesn't want them to show up. She said that, at this point she just doesn't care and she doesn't want them to show up. So, I did say that, I do think Karen inviting those ladies to a last minute event was her trying to see who was going to show up for her versus Giselle. And it's like, I get it. To me, it was last minute, but she did tell Giselle that she wasn't coming, and yeah, she did extend it to all the ladies. And yes, everything is a choice. You chose to come, and that's fine. You chose. So Giselle thinks that what they're doing is rude. She didn't say it was rude. She said it was blankety rude. And again, I say, Jacqueline, what did Karen do to you specifically? So Karen was saying, she wanted to see if the ladies would show up for her instead of Giselle. She didn't say those words, but in other words, that's what she was saying. And I was like, okay. All right, Karen. I don't know what that's about, but I noticed them two always get into the season and there's this head bumping thing. And for me, either y'all gonna be cool or y'all not. And that's just what it is. But it's every season them two start to get into it. So Kay and Wendy decided to stay at Karen's event, and then Mia, Stacy, and Jossie make it to the event, and they actually made it there at about 8:02, which they said it was coming at 8. But then Giselle kicks them out of the event. She calls security, and that's where the episode ends. I mean, episode 2 was alright. It was alright, But, I'm assuming next week it's going to be a little hot stinking mess. And I'll come back to y'all next week. But before you walk out this door, nieces and nephews, make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe on your way out. And I will see y'all in the next video.